Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover tuples dictionary and some sorting algorithms. So before we go, so in the last class we have studied about how to use a string, how to use the list, and some of the conditional formatting and statements we have been used in the Python. So these three are going to be your last topic for your syllabus, that is for a class level, right? See, tuples dictionary and sorting algorithms we are going to cover in this class. So tuples, before we go to the tuples, so we have studied already the list. So what exactly the difference between tuples and list here, right? So list we are going to be maintained in square brackets, but tuples we are going to be maintained in a parenthesis. So this is the one difference. So here we have some description about a tuples. A tuple is created by placing all the items or elements inside the parenthesis. So in list, we have been used the elements inside the square brackets, right? So it is separated by the commas. The parentheses are optional. So whenever you want to pass a tuples to a program, so you can use within the parenthesis, or you can also if you do not use a parenthesis also, it is okay. But if you use a parenthesis, that it looks good, so it is going to be identified. So I will use a tuple here. Why? Because for the dictionary we are going to use a flower brackets. For list we will be using a square brackets, and for tuples we are going to use a parenthesis. So it is going to be identified, right? Whether it is a tuple, whether it is a list, or whether it is a dictionary, by the brackets, right? Tuples are immutable, so this is very important. Tuples are immutable. See list is also having a concept called as a indexing. So means from left to right, so it starts from the 0, from right to left it starts from the -1. So by the index values we are going to access the values here in list. So in tuples also we can access through the index values, but whatever the elements you have been stored in the tuples, that cannot be changed. So it is called as a immutable. Say for example, so I have created one list, right? See, within the square bracket 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 are there, so that value can be changed. So that we can see through the practically. So how these works? Okay, so first I'll create one list here. So square bracket means list, so it should be separated by commas again. Okay, so let me print a. So the list has been ready. So suppose if I want to access to the index value of 1 or 3, right? What is the index value of a 1 here? So index value of a 1 is becomes a 0. Okay, next what? 1 and 2, right? So I want to display the value of a 1 here. What is the index value of a 1? So it becomes a 1 only. Okay, so I will use the index value as a 0 to display the value of a 1 here, right? So the next what? If I want to change the value of a 1, see, in my index value 0, 1 has been placed, that I want to change with a different number. So since I am working in a list only, so 0, by using a assignment operator, I want to change a 1 to 100 now. So in before it was a 1, now I placed 1 replaced with the 100. Now you print a, so it has been changed. So means list is not a mutable, it is a list is a mutable. So value can be changed through the index values. So I'll create a tuple now. So let me take one variable, that is r is equal to, so I have to use what? Parenthesis. So 2 4 and 5, right? So if you want to access or you want to display, again you are going to use index value here. So r 0 1 2, so in 0 index value 2 has been stored, in 1 4 and in 2 5 it is. So I want to display the 5th value, 5 value through this through the index value, that is a r of 2. So the 5 has been displayed. So you can access the value in tuple, but you cannot change. Let us try once. So r of, so I want to change what? Second value to, so 90 190. Okay, so initially it was a 5, So r of 2 is nothing but the index value of 5 is a 2 here, that I want to change into the 190. So you'll get an error, tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, meaning is it is an immutable, the value once it has been assigned that cannot be changed here, right? So one more thing we can use in tuple. Suppose what if you want to store only one element into the tuple. See, I'll take one more variable here. So is equal to, suppose if I use a 1, so let me print it as e. So it is 1, so 1 is the number it is. So say for example, if I is equal to 1, so it is the 1 only. So why I should use a parenthesis? Simply to display the number 1 here. It is not a tuple, right? So it is not a tuple. If you want, you can use a type operator, sorry, type function, type of e. Then you get a which type it is. It is only a number, it is only an integer, right? So how do you store only a single element into a tuple, right? So there is one more here, y is equal to, so 1 comma. See, 1 comma is nothing but only one value have been stored, but it is separated by the comma. So next value is going to be empty here. So now what? So it will give you the tuple here. So if you want, you can check it. Okay. So it is a class tuple, right? So this is the procedure to store a single value into a tuple here. So what we have learned till now. So list, what are the difference between a list and tuple? So the list and tuple is nothing but there in list we are going to use a square bracket to enter the elements. In dictionary, sorry, in tuple we are going to use what? Parenthesis to enter the values. So parenthesis is an optional here. So let me try that also. T is equal to 9 comma 0 comma 8. So T, so it is a tuple only. So type of T, if I try, so it will be a tuple, meaning, so means that, so without using a parenthesis also you can create or generate a tuple here. Okay, so these are the some syntax we have been used. My tuple is equal to empty. Okay, so 1 2 3, you can also use a string values into the tuple, right? So tuple operations, accessing elements from a tuple, positive and negative indexing as we have been used in a list. As I already said, positive and indexing is nothing but a, see, this is the list we have created, r is equal to 2 4 5. So if you want to access the value of 4, so we are going to use what? R of index value of 4 is 1, then you can display the 4 value. So index value we are going to use as same as a list we have been used. So what do you mean by the slicing method here? Slicing method is nothing but the range you are going to cover here. Say for example, r of, I want to go from 1 to 2. So it will be a 4 only. Why? Because the last 2 value is going to be excluded, as I have already explained, excluded. So it is going to take a 2. So 0 1 2. So according to this format it should go to the 5, but the 2 is going to be excluded here, so it displays only a 4. So this is a slicing method we have been used. Iterating through a tuple, so we can use like a list also. Say for example, I create a one tuple here. So how to use the iteration method? Iteration is nothing but a looping. A is equal to, so let me take a different value here. So ds is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 have been used, right? So I'll use a for loop for I in ds. So I want to print it as, what I want to print, ds of I. So I want the square of all the numbers. So 4 and 9 it is giving. So 4 means 1 square is always a 1 here. So 2 square is going to be a 3, and 3 square is going to be 9. So like this you can use a for loop in a tuples, right? Okay. So the next is, so tuple functions. So these are the some functions we can use in a tuples. Say for example, if you want to find a length of a tuple, then you can use a length. The tuple is nothing but the name you have been used as a variable as a tuple, right? So maximum value, minimum value you can find tuple sequences. So if it is a unordered means you can make it as a sequence. So tuple functions. So how it works, it is easy. Only thing is that you need to remember these functions. Example, I'll take one more variable as a tuple. T is equal to, T is nothing but a tuple here. So 2 4 5, right? So what is the first function we have? So maximum is the function and T is going to be my tuple. So maximum value should be a 5 here, same as a minimum of T. So T is a tuple here, it should be 2. So next what? Sum of T. Sum of T is nothing but a, so I am summing all the elements which have been stored in the tuple. So it should be what? 5 4 9, 9 plus 2 is a 11 it should be, right? So next is the what? Sequence of, so sum of tuples done, a minimum length of the tuple. So what is the length of the tuple we have? So 3, right? 3 elements we have been stored, it should be topics. So dictionary here. So what are the difference between a list and tuple we have seen. I will go to the dictionary here. Python dictionary is an unordered collection of items. Here you can make a list of items which may be anything. Say for example, it may be a number, it may be a characters, strings, or special characters, anything you can use it here. So while other command data types have only have a value as an element, so here we are going to use a two main concept here, a value and a key player. So key and a value here. So we are going to access the value from the key here. Say for example, here I have created my dictionary. You can also create an empty dictionary so that user can enter the values. So that we'll see it in the next programs. Okay, so my dictionary one dot apple. So one is going to be what here? One is going to be your value and apple is going to be your key player, right? So whenever I call one, it should display apple here, right? And 2 mango. So 2 is going to be your key and mango is going to be your value. So key value player. So like this you can create a number of items within the dictionary, but it is only called as a, see this complete line is going to be called as a one list. See for example, if you want to create a marks of a students, so in your class, so how it works we'll see now. Practically we can see. So let me close this. Okay, so how do you store the marks of the students? Okay, so marks which is equal to, since it is a dictionary, how to use a flower brackets. So I want to store the marks of what? Whom? Anil, who secured 96. So the next one more value will take Ajay, who secured how much? So maybe 56. Okay, so 56. So marks I'll call, so it will display the marks of the students, right? So if you want to update, sorry, if you want to append the value, some more values if you want to append, that also you can do. See for example, marks of, so new student value I want to add Arun. So how much value? So assignment operator we are going to see, so 100 I'll take. Okay, so initially it was consist of only 2 names. Now it becomes what? 3 names. So what if you want to change the value here? So if you want to change the value, means iterating through a dictionary, means we are going to use a for loop. So how it is going to be used? Updating. You can also update a dictionary by modifying existing key value player. Existing key value player means what? Using that key value player you can use. So which is the key value here? The Anil is going to be a key here and the value is going to be a 96 here. That you can change existing Anil to, so Anil value can be changed from 96 to what? Some other values, that we'll see, right? So we can add a new items or change the value of existing using the assignment operator. As I already said, I have been add Arun as a one more value. Once I have created a dictionary, you can append a number of values as a key value player. Next, if the key is already present, value gets updated. So if the key is already present, so you cannot use the duplicate values here. So let me work it in practically how it works. So I want to change the value of 96. The key is Anil, so I want to change 96 to some other values. Say for example marks. I want to change the marks of Anil here. So I want to change it as a 100, right? Sorry, it becomes 1000 now. Okay. So syntax error, invalid syntax. So assignment operator have been used. It should be colon. Okay. So once I call marks here, so Anil marks has been updated. So what if you want to use the same name to the different value? How it works? So marks of Anil to, I want to go to the 90 here, right? So marks of Anil to 90. So again the marks has been updated with the 90 here, right? So this is how we are going to update or change the value to the dictionary by using a key value player, right? So here is one code, my dictionary name Suraj, the A's which we want to change. So let me try this one also. So I'll use my dictionary as a variable here. Let me pass. So name, since it is a dictionary, how to use either double quote, single quote. As I'll use. Next what? I want to use it as a marks here. So marks I could use it as a 100. Okay. So once I call this my dictionary, so it is working. Now what? I want to change the marks 100. So we have used a A's here. So let me try with the marks itself. So this is already done. Dictionary of marks 100 to 90. So my dictionary, so name as so marks has been changed to the 100 here, right? So now how to use what? For loop. How to use a for loop in the dictionary here. So we'll try once again here. So how to use a for loop in the dictionary. So I'll take editor as a, so let me try student, which is equal to what? So I want to use 101. So I'll use it as a Rahul here. So how we are going to use a for loop in the dictionary? Next, so I'll take a 102. Let me take it as a Raj. Next, 103. Anil will take answer. Right? So how this works? So for K in stud, first two we have taken. So else we can take it as a stud. Right? For K in stud. So I want to print what? All the values are exist in K now. So I want to print the value of K. So let me run it. So before we run, so we have to save it. Example, so we'll take it as dictionary dot py. So it should be in the form of a py. So 101, 102, 103. So what is the 101, 102, 103 here? So actually it is a key, right? Actually, see 101, 102, 103 is a key. I want to display the value here. See, whatever the value of a stud, they have been stored in a k in the form of a value key. But I want to display the values also. See, for this you need to pass what std of k here, std of k. So let us run. So now you see the value has been displaying, right? So this is how the for loop work, the dictionary works in the for loop, right? So the next is, so this we have seen. So bubble sort, for your syllabus you are having only two sorts, that is a bubble sort and insertion sort. See, to do this I need a board to explain you. So some tracing are there, right? So I have to use a tracing methods to make you better understand. So how this 8 4 1 3 2 6 is going to be sort in the bubble. So in examination you may get, so how many times it has been swapped by using a is equal to 841326. Okay, so these kind of questions you may get in your examination. See, in the next class I'll be explaining bubble sort as well as a insertion sort by using a iterating by using iteration, that is a for loop, right? So till then, thank you so much. Okay, we'll see bubble sort method or algorithm here. So here we have some tracing, how exactly it works. So we'll see here. So I'll take some random numbers, like I'll take 8 4 1 3 2 6. Okay, so these are the numbers we have to sort by using a bubble sort method, right? What do you mean by the bubble sort? So from the left hand side to the right hand side, it is going to be compared. Say for example 8 is greater than 4, then it is going to shift towards the right side, right? So how it works? So in examination they may ask you, they will give us a number, how many times it has been swapped by using a bubble sort. So these kind of questions you will get. So we'll see how it works. So first 8 is greater than 4, then what? The 4 is going to be shifted to the first one, then 8 will be here, right? So again the 8 is going to be compared with the 1. Now it has been sorted with the, sorry, swapped with the 1 time. So for your reference I'll write here, right? So now 8 here, right? In this place you will be getting 8. Again 8 is going to be compared with the 1. So since 1 is less than 8, next, so 2 times we have been swapped. Now 8 came here, right? So now 8 again compared with the 3. So 3 is less than 8. So we have been swapped 3 times. Now 8 comes here. Next again the 8 is compared with the 2. The 2 is going to be less value. Then so we have been sort 4 times. Again 8 came here. So 8 again compared with the 6. So 6 will be here, and this is going to be 8 my. So it has been swapped. So in first iteration it has been swapped with the 5 times, right? So if I use a for loop, so how many elements are there? 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. 6 times it gets iterated. Okay, now it is only a first time. Now again starting, right? Again 4 is going to compare with the 1. 1 is the less value, so 1, then it is going to be 4. Since values are there, so it has been swapped with what? How many times? 6 times now. Again 4 came here, right? So 4 again compared with the 3 here. So 3 is the less value. So it has been swapped with the 7 times now. Now 4 came here. Again 4 is compared with the 2. So 2 will be replaced or a swap. So 8 times. Now 4 came here. So the 4 is less than 6. So I can keep 4 as it is. Next 6 as it is, and then 8 will be as it is, right? So in the second iteration, so this is going to be my first iteration, and this is going to be my second time iteration, right? Next what? So totally how many times we have swapped? 8 times, but still I have a 2 here, I have a 3 here, so one more time it will get swapped, right? So 1 as it is, so 3 is going to be compared with the 2 again, so the 2 is the less value, right? So 3, so now it becomes a 9 times has been swapped, so remaining value will be same. Okay, so this is the method to swap, right? So 9 times you have been swap to make a bubble sort, that is in the one order, right? So how practically it works, we'll see. So I'll write here, right? So we'll take one element, list here. So I'll take A is equal to, let me take 8, same value only, 8, 4, 1, 3, 2 and 6, right? So how to use a for loop? So it is going to be run 6 times here, right? So for what? I in range of what? So the length of A. So it is going to be iterate 6 times here. Okay, so for I in range of a length of a so one more value how to take here. So let me take, so this is going to be I and this is going to be J. So it is going to be swap. See, for example, so if this value is less than this value, then it is going to be swap, right? So I'll take this as a 1, so 1 minus 1, so J minus 1, if it is a less than 1, then it is going to be swap. So how it works, we'll see. So one more for loop I have to take for J in range. Initially we'll start with the 1, so it is going to be and with the end of the 6th value, that is the 6th time, that is the length of a we can take. So we can take 1 of length of A, right? So the next what? A of J minus 1, if this value is greater than A of I, then what? It should be swapped with the A of I and A of J minus 1. So this is the main to swap the values. The entire values are going to be swapped in a single line, right? So A of I, so if this is greater than A of I, so I have to take this one into the next value. So one line only I have written. Let me remove it. If J of if A of J minus 1 is greater than A of J or A of J, then what? Then I have to replace. What I should replace? So A of J minus 1, A of J, then it came, then what? A of J minus 1 comma A of J should be replaced with what? A of J and comma A of J minus 1. So the next what? I have to print of A. Then the values are going to be printed. So this you try it in your editor. So suppose if you want to count how many times it has been swapped, so you can simply count variable, you can use count is equal to 0. Then what? So here you can count plus. So whenever it is count, it is going to be incremented value by 1. So this is the bubble sort, right? And this is the tracing method. This is a simple code, so that we have been used here. Okay. So thank you so much.